Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Don Mafia Live. It's Victory Monday. The Buffalo Bills are 4-0, one of the only two teams in the league that have that honor, the only team in the AFC. I got to tell you what, just about a perfect schedule or a perfect occurrence happened for the Bills yesterday, minus, of course, the Baltimore Ravens completely choking away their opportunity of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. But we saw the Chargers lose to the New York Giants. We saw the Indianapolis Colts lose, of course, to the LA Rams based off of a disgusting fumble from A.D. Mitchell. Who remembers when people wanted A.D. Mitchell on this team? I'm just kidding. I'm running victory laps because I deserve it. But 4-0, it is a big thing. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to sort of walk through exactly what we witnessed yesterday from a game that felt weird. Like for the back-to-back weeks, we have watched a football game which didn't feel real good. But then when you end up looking at the box score, you're like, damn, this Buffalo Bills team still won by 2 scores. Damn, this Buffalo Bills team still held our opponent to a very minimal amount of points. Although it didn't look like that out on the field, the Buffalo Bills just continue to score 30 points. Like that is their baseline. And I got to tell you, it's okay for anybody to be, or it's okay for everyone to be upset and nitpicky about particular things, right? Like obviously we want this team playing at their best. However, as I always like reminding everybody, this is not college football, all right? You don't get extra points for how you win. You just get points for winning. And the Buffalo Bills are currently 4-0. But that does not mean that we don't have a lot to discuss today on this episode. So let's just get right into it, folks. As you know, the easiest way to show some love over here is just do me a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love. And also, I'm nosy. I want to understand how far Bills Mafia truly extends. Sound off in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? What corner of the globe are you tapping in from on this beautiful Victory Monday, the 4th in a row, which is a beautiful thing? Guys, I need to go on ahead and give a couple of shout outs to our proud partners today, starting off with our good friend, William Mattar. Folks, if you were ever hurt in a car, you got to call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. Sometimes the cruel reality is you're going to find yourself in some type of a car accident and you may be injured. If that is the case, you have to make sure you have the right representation and look no further than my friend staring at you in the face. William Mattar phone number is on the screen. I also need to give a giant shout out to Sleeper, folks. Sleeper is bar none, hands down, the best player prop platform on the market today. It's a very simple process. Pick anywhere between 2 to 6 players on this application and predict whether or not that they are going to go more or less than their projected numbers, from receiving yards, passing yards, receptions, sacks, what have you. If you get all of them right, you could see rewards up to 1,000x your deposit. Best thing about it is that they are matching 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. Link is in description. Go on ahead and show Sleeper a little bit of love, man. Let's go on ahead and take a look at this Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints box score and start having a couple of conversations about what we witnessed yesterday. All right, let's go on ahead and knock that out. But first, I got to see where people are tuning in from. Don't be shy. I'm talking to the lurkers right now. Where are you tuning in from? Shout out Dwayne is in the building. We're playing with our food, but 4-0. Dan, Kansas City looked scary yesterday. It's that or the Baltimore Ravens look absolutely awful. One of the two. We have Josh Richardson. I was at the game yesterday. It was pretty good, but thought we should score at least 40. Well, so the thing is, folks, like we're not getting extra points for how we beat teams. And one thing I like to say about this squad, and yes, there are things that I wish this team would have done differently. Do I wish that we would have tackled a bit more? For sure. I think tackling was our biggest issue yesterday defensively. But one thing I'm not taking away from the defense is when the offense couldn't get going, especially in that gruesome second quarter offensively, some play calling gaffes from Joe Brady. And so our defense held this team to 3 straight punts and a damn interception. So when the offense stalled out, and so our defense ended up stepping up. And that's something I feel that we need And that's something that I am okay with. This Saints team was winless going into Buffalo. They got the door blown off of them against the Carolina Panthers the week before. Very oftentimes you hear, oh my God, this is your Super Bowl. They ran the Philly special, folks. They ran the Philly special. If that doesn't tell you that this team was pulling out everything they possibly could to be competitive, is what it is. At the end of the day, this Buffalo Bills team still won by 2 scores, right? Held their offense to 5 out of 15 third and fourth down conversions. Did we blow the doors off of them 30-0 or 40-0? No, but at the end of the day, no one's going to care. It's 4-0. 5 weeks from now, no one's even going to remember what happened during this game. We are the sole undefeated team in the AFC. We move on. That's what I'm looking at for now. We have Clobbers coming in. Inch or a mile winning. Winning is winning. Go Bills. Dan J. Happy Victory Monday to Dan and all my fellow Bills fans. Hope everyone has a fantastic day and that the Jets destroy the Miami Dolphins in their brand new uniforms, somebody's trying to say. North Brunswick, New Jersey is in the building. Watertown, New York is in the building. Man, we have Alexander is coming in. Bishop is starting to his talent and instincts not play systematically, just playing and having fun. Dan, you the MF and man. Let's go. Shout out Alexander. Cash is in the building. Guys, do not be shy. Where are you tuning in from? We have Olean, New York is in the building. Syracuse, New York. I was at the game yesterday, and tailgating was awesome, as always, and the Bills got a dub for my birthday. I love to see it. We have Harrisonburg, Pennsylvania is in the building. Denver, Colorado. Go Bills. Next is 5-0. Granville, New York. Next week is rivalry uniform week. The cold front is going. How do you think that we will do? Pritchard, Alabama is in the building. 1-0 every single week. South Carolina, but I'm currently in Buffalo for my birthday. Dom, I hope you had a great time, man. I hope you had a great time. We have Nashville, Tennessee is in the building. Salem, Virginia is in the building. New York, Toronto is in the building. Buffalo, we have Armark, New York. Miami is in the building. We have Ravens gave up. Lamar quit on his team. Can't nobody say otherwise. He did. I'm not buying that whole, oh my God, he had some phantom like hamstring injury. Dude completely gave up on his squad. Completely gave up on his squad last night. And say that I'm a Ravens fan, I would be absolutely livid if I was able to actually witness that, man. Tuning in from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Red Gong, what is going on, man? Hope all is well. We have Clovis, New Mexico. Go Bills. Walter Chambers, Southern California. I'm in Davenport, Iowa. Alice is in the building suggesting, what do you think of the tie between the Cowboys and the Packers? I think they should play until someone wins. Me too. I've hated that there is a rule that allows for a tie during the regular season. I think that they should just implement the overtime rules all throughout the regular season and playoffs. I think that we're going to be seeing that eventually. I would not be surprised if the rule change proposals will be edited by next year during the annual meeting. That's it. From Rochester, New York, and current president of the Bills backers in Volusia County here in De Leon Springs, Florida. I pray they do not make us nervous again next Sunday against the Patriots/Patsies, but we will always believe. Betty, I love the energy. Have no fear. We're going to be talking about those Patriots this week. Guys, as you're coming in, I just want to remind you that I am live Monday through Friday at this exact same time, where we unpack everything surrounding the Buffalo Bills and the league. Say, for example, that you haven't already, subscribe and turn on bell notifications. It's the easiest way to be notified when I am live, so that way you can come on in and make it happen. We have Lynn is coming in saying, what a horrible performance by Buffalo. Lynn, we are 4-0, dude. We are 4-0. This is not college football. Lynn, I love you, man, but what happened to you, bro? You used to be the most positive guy on the face of the planet. Look, guys, how I look at this entire situation is this. Were there things that this team needs to improve on? Absolutely. Absolutely. But every single NFL team has things that they need to improve on week in and week out. This is not Madden, folks. This is not Madden. You are not going to be beating a team 70-3 each and every single week. This Buffalo Bills team held a team that got the doors blown off of them last week. They ran the Philly special. If the New Orleans Saints ran the Philly special last night, folks, that probably suggests that they were opening up their playbook like no other. We had no Matt Milano. We had no Ed Oliver. We still have 2 guys that are suspended on the side of the line. And for everyone that's just like, oh my God, this defense, they suck, dude. They suck. They stepped up when we needed them to, when our offense completely took an absolute shit. I want this team to play perfect football. But folks, we are in the NFL. All right? It's not Alabama versus a Clearwater Community College each and every single week. It's how it is. So for people parading around with this negative attitude, and I'm fine with people coming in and suggesting the Bills need things to improve on, but if you're going to walk around and try and tell people that we shouldn't be excited for the fact that we're 4-0, that this team just finds a way to score 30 points, 3rd and 4th down defense with all of our injuries, hold them to 5 out of 15 3rd and 4th down conversions, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. My only piece of advice is just stop watching. Like, stop watching the Buffalo Bills play, man, because you're never going to be happy. Like, you're never going to be happy, man. The Kansas City Chiefs made an identity of this. And that's okay to be frustrated, but some of the attitudes that I see all online are just people talking about, oh my God, dude, like, we're never going to win a Super Bowl. How about you just worry about next Sunday? Worry about the next game, because last time I checked, I think the Buffalo Bills look like the best damn team in the AFC. I feel like all these teams that everyone's like, oh my God, man, like, you see how the Chiefs look? They're 2-2, and they lost to a team that lost to the New York Giants last week. It's okay to fan. It's okay, but for the love of all that is holy, stop with this doom and gloom attitude. It can't be good for your health. It cannot be good for your health. Good God, man. Dude, some of the negativity just blows my mind. It frustrates me to no other. Morning, DTN. How you doing? No one comes in. We have Kalicha 619. Chiefs aren't back. They will go back to losing in no time. James Goldsmith's in the building, and he's saying, happy Victory Monday, Dan. Lots of snaps for Jackson Hawes. Don't think he can ever surpass Calvin Hill as the greatest NFL player from Yale, but maybe he's on his way to being one of the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be welcoming in my good friend Tommy, who helps me unpack every single Bills game. Victory Monday. Let's bring him on in. Smash that like button and give a giant welcome in the live chat to my good friend, Tom. What is going on, baby? What's going on, man?
What is going on, Dan? Happy Victory Monday to you, and happy Victory Monday to all of Bills Mafia. 4-0. 4-0. Listen, 4-0. I heard you talking. Heard you getting a little worked up, Dan. Heard you getting a little. Dan was getting. Dan was starting to get out. You were about to get out of your chair. I saw it.
Dude. Look, here's my thing, right? I'm fine with somebody coming in being like, you know what? I wanted Buffalo to win 40-3. I wanted Buffalo to win 45-10. But if people come in here and tell me that, oh man, we suck. We're not going to win the Super Bowl, man. We didn't beat the Saints by 35. Like, I'm going to crash out. I am absolutely going to crash out. Look, were there things that I wish this defense did better? Absolutely. We couldn't tackle for shit yesterday to save our lives. But at the end of the day, I feel that when you look at what this team has been criticized for all season long, once you look at the box score, still held this team 5 for 15, right? In 3rd and 4th down conversions. Mm-hmm. When our offense laid an egg, all right, that defense ended up stepping up. And when you see a Saints team run the Philly special against you, that tells you that that team was doing whatever they could. That was their Super Bowl yesterday. Of course, absolutely. They were going to go out and do whatever they can. But I'm okay with criticism. But for people with the energy of being like, oh, we suck, I'm like, dude, give me a break.
Yeah. I people who watch me know my, watch my channel. They understand that I try to be down the middle as best I can. And I try to tell fans, excuse me, all the time too. Sometimes you got to step back. You got to look at everything, guys, and stop zooming in on all the negative or even the positive, right? Sometimes you got to look, step back, look at the big picture and see what's really going on, right? Of course, there's things we got to clean up. Of course, it wasn't a pretty game. There's going to be things that we are like, what the fuck are we doing out there? Hey, well, what's going on? Why are we calling these dumb timeouts? What are we doing? But then there's really good things, right? And sometimes I think a lot of people are guilty of just looking at the negative and then forgetting all about the good, right? That happened in the course of a game, right? So, obviously we'll dive into that when we talk about this game, but I'm with you. I totally get it. We're 4-0, guys. It's not in our DNA. For those people who are talking about like the 40 and stuff like that and just squashing teams, I got to be honest with you guys. It's just not in our DNA. It's not what the Bills do. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I would love for us to kind of put the pedal to the metal sometimes, take the kill shot, but it's not really what we do. Sean McDermott has a certain way of, doing things, and that's just how it goes. We're not gonna be aggressive through all 4 quarters. It's just not how our style goes, right? So, but that's okay. I will say this too. The best teams figure a way to win, right? Absolutely. The Kansas City Chiefs have been doing it for years, right? They had, how many ugly games the Kansas City Chiefs have all the time.
Every single one last year.
Yeah, especially last year. And you don't think, listen, and if you're a Chiefs fan last year, if you're a diehard Chiefs fan and understand that team, you're going, oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
I know this.
Like, man, why can't we be like the Kansas City Chiefs? Folks, the Bills are the 2024 Kansas Chiefs through 4 weeks of this season, all right? For the love of God.
That's right.
Good. All right, so yes, we will talk about some of the negatives and some of the concerns, but I feel like we should talk about things that we did like about this game, things that really stood out to you. For me, I heard an NFL analyst actually put together one of the best analogies I've heard in quite some time. And they said, James Cook allows Josh Allen to be Clark Kent for the majority of the games. But Superman is still there, but James Cook really opens up this offense for the Buffalo Bills. And Tommy, I swear to God, man, I've been sitting here like watching Jimbo play since he got his contract. His vision is absolutely elite. Like, he almost always makes the first and second man miss. I said on my live play-by-play reaction where I was saying, dude, like, this guy's a 5-yard automatic, like, type running back. Like, he is really opening up this offense to no other. Now, maybe I can talk about this now. Maybe I could go on ahead and save it for later in the season, but he's on pace for a considerable amount of touches. And we know that the running back position is typically one of the first to go down with an injury. And the fact that Ray Davis has been a complete no-show, has not been taking advantage of his opportunities, we all better cross our fingers and pray to the football gods that James Cook does not go down, because that could derail a season. Because that man is dominating. Talk to me.
Absolutely. And I was wrong. Like, I was totally wrong on James Cook. I'll eat crow. And all season. People who know me know how I felt about signing a running back to a big contract. And I'll say this about James Cook, what I noticed in yesterday's game, and I don't know why I haven't noticed this season, because I don't remember this. I don't, or at least recall this from last year. He has really been patient when he's getting the ball. So if you notice, when he gets the ball initially, he waits for his blockers to set blocks up. He's kind of doing like a Le'Veon Bell in a way, right? So you kind of see him stutter step, kind of be patient a little bit, and then hit the hole. I noticed that about him in yesterday's game, and I'm like, man, you know what? That goes to show you the improvement, because I know for a fact that wasn't there early on in his career. So he's only getting better. Vision, contact balance, his strength has even gotten better. That's one thing I didn't like when he came, when we first drafted him. I didn't think he was, great between the tackles. Man, he is just kind of proving me and really the people that were downing him wrong. And he's living, and honestly, that extension, he's doing even better than his extension, right? He's outperforming his extension. So I'll say this too on offense. Yeah, right now it's Josh and Cook. Those are our impactful players. I would love to say that about some of the receivers right now, but they're just not quite there yet. I think Khalil maybe one day can get there. He's trending up. It just avoiding the injuries. But yeah, James Cook, God, man, if he went down, that would be that would really, really hurt this team, this offense. And Ray Davis, speaking of Ray Davis, it sucks because I kind of had high hopes for him. I thought he would be a good complimentary running back. And who knows, if we didn't sign James Cook, maybe he could be that filler. But no, man, I don't know what happened. He's regressed. But moving forward, if the Bills are smart, what I would like to see is if you want a really good complimentary running back for James Cook in this offense, you get a bigger bruiser, north to south kind of running back, kind of like what they have in Miami with the one guy, I forget his name, but a kind of a bruiser, right, that can complement this team. But that's what I would like to see. I just feel like we got too small of running backs. They all kind of, are a little bit undersized. So, putting Ray Davis in those short yardage situations, you kind of see what's going on this year, right? It's not working. So, and it's just not in his DNA. He's not a big type of bruiser back. So I would like to see that moving forward. Maybe they find that in the draft, a bigger back. Like, I always go back to the Carlos Williams, Shady McCoy days, right? That was a perfect complimentary running back. But you're right, James Cook, man, golly, man, knock on wood. We need that dude healthy going into the playoffs, just like a lot of these players, but we definitely need him 100% going into the playoffs healthy.
So the way that I'm looking at it, I'm really curious to see if it's more of a perception thing with Ray Davis, because dude's only had 11 carries. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, dude has had exclusively 11 carries, only 29 yards, 2.6 on average. But then when you end up going over to James Cook, he has 75 carries through 4 weeks. That is absolutely insane. 401 yards, second in the NFL, tied with the most touchdowns. In your opinion, is this more that like Ray Davis is just bumming it out in practice? Or is this more so like, all right, like we just significantly invested in James Cook, so guess what? You're going to earn that. And that's why we're seeing a hell of a lot more James and not really implementing Ray. Thoughts on that one?
It could be a combination of, hey, we just paid this guy. We're going to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure he earns every dollar. That's one. That's just one thing. Two, it could just be they understand James Cook has taken another giant step forward in his career as a running back. And they're going to, and obviously they see that that's an advantage on offense. So they're going to continue to go that route. I also, too, going to point out a little bit to kind of, I guess, a little defend Ray Davis. When we tend to use him, it's kind of in, late in games where we're just going to run the ball. The defenses kind of know that, right? They're stacking the box, or, you know what I mean? So he's kind of getting that garbage time, run time. But either way, you still got to pick up some type of better yardage than 2.3. Like I said, the coaches could see that he's just, not doing something right. Maybe his vision is, I don't know what it is, but clearly he's regressed. So, because if you go back to last year, even when James Cook was doing really, really well, or really, really good, actually, they still used Ray Davis. Ray Davis was still a part of this offense and made some really good plays for us. And he's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, like you said, lack of carries and it's maybe motivation. He's just not getting on the field enough. And, I really don't know. That's something that he has to ask himself, right?
Yeah.
To see why he's underperforming. But either way, man, he's on a rookie contract. It's not a big deal, right? They could figure that out in the offseason. But would I like for Ray to be better and be a good complimentary running back? Sure. But if you even look at Ty Johnson this year, he's not, he's not doing what he was doing last year either. So right now, it's
0 yards.
Right. And even receiving. If you saw it last year, Ty Johnson was a big part of the receiving room out of the backfield. This year, not so much. So it just seems so far through 4 games, it's the Allen and Cook show. I mean, if we're going to be real on offense, that's kind of what is driving this offense and leading to points. I mean, if without Cook, I got to say, I don't know where this offense would be. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. It would be a little shaky right now. So thank God we have Cook.
For sure. Now, like when we need to talk about offense here, it looked like Dalton Kincaid with his 1 reception for 28 and the touchdown, right? Sounds like he's finally starting to get it. Now, last year I often said hey, you know what? Significant chemistry issue between Josh and Dalton. That seems to be at least writing its own. Shakir had a game, 5 receptions, 69 yards. Keon Coleman, 3 receptions for 45. So I liked what I saw, minus, of course, that second quarter lull. But probably the most impressive thing I saw was when the Saints made it a game. And by making it just a 3-point, in just 4 plays, we saw Josh Allen once again throw the cape on, 27-yard run, very next play, that Dalton Kincaid touchdown pass. So when I see things like that from the offense, I kind of wonder, and I kind of try to put myself in the shoes of the coaching staff. Do you think that we're just going into these games like, hey, this is the script, and the script is that we're going to win, and we're going to go out there and just run our offense. We're not going to revert from the script whatsoever, but if things get dicey, then all bets are off. Josh, go do your thing. Is this a part of the game plan, you think, Tommy, where they're looking at this saying, yeah, like we're going to have a game plan. We're going to be married to it offensively, and the team is going to beat us. If they don't, then yeah, whatever. We'll just let Josh run free. We don't want to give up too much because we've made that mistake before. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is McDermott's vision, what you're seeing now, right? I think this is what he always wanted since day one, was a balanced offense. It just, we couldn't early on do that because the offensive line wasn't necessarily right at the time. We weren't really a run blocking type of offense. Our offensive line wasn't really, run blocking scheme, that is. And then once we started building that offensive line, and obviously Dable left, because Dable was more of the fun ball, more of the, creativity, more of the deep shots downfield, which is fine. But I think McDermott, that's why they kind of had a clash there. McDermott kind of wanted a certain style. Dable wanted to do something different. And same with Dorsey. Dorsey kind of fed off of what Dable did. When Joe Brady took over, I'm pretty sure, because if you look at Joe Brady's resume in LSU, it was deep ball too. It was fun ball. But he also had the talent. I mean, that LSU team was stacked with receivers, right? So we don't really have that here. What we have is a lot of, B to B plus receivers. We got an A running back, and we have a really good offensive line. So you can kind of be well balanced. So that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing a well balanced team, and then going into games. Yeah, the script's not. Listen, they're going to game plan for each opponent. They're going to have some, certain, things they open the game up with, and then from there, it's just, play calling on the spot, right? And I think Brady at times frustrates me, and other times I'm like, yeah, that's a beautiful drive, well executed by the players. But yeah, I mean, I look, man, in a perfect world, these receivers, we'd have an A+ receiver and an A-, second receiver. Just, we don't have that luxury right now. And I still feel like we're putting up almost 31 a game or whatever that is right now. Not bad, right? Not too bad for having a group of B to B+ receivers. When there's other teams out there with A+, receivers on their team, and they're not doing what we're doing. So, and I want to say one more thing too. You're talking about Allen and kind of doing certain plays off script. That happens a lot. If you watch the game, a lot of the time, man, these receivers aren't creating separation. So what happens is Allen's kind of doing a backyard football type of thing where it's a scramble drill. So he creates more time, waits for his receivers to get open, and that's not in the playbook. These are guys that are just, now it's off script. Get open, and Allen will find you. And that's what makes Allen so special, right? He can create that extra time for receivers to find their way and get open. But early in routes, usually, like, that's the problem right now, is Allen's not finding, his receivers because they're not getting early separation. So credit Allen for going off script and just finding guys. And obviously credit the guys too who are getting open, finding themselves open. But I wish, like I said, our hope is that these guys get out, figure it out. The chemistry starts to get built, because I do think that matters a lot. Like, I don't think Palmer and Allen have that quite down yet.
Yeah, he's been a disappointment, dude. He's been a disappointment.
Yeah, and I'm glad he said it, because some people may not agree with that take, but I think here's another guy where, again, kind of like Curtis Samuel, besides the injuries, where we're signing a guy for 3 years. Right now, if he was a 1 year guy, a 1 year player, Dan, I'd be like, oh, whatever. He's a 1 year guy. My co-host texted me yesterday. He was like, because he knows I like Phillips, right? But I don't like Phillips enough where I'm like, he needs to be a starter. He needs to be out there. Like, and he's like, oh, there goes your Phillips. And I'm like, dude, what do you expect? He's a 1 year player. You get what you pay for. You can't go to the Dollar Tree and then get an item and bring it home and expect it to last, and be a great, item. Like, just doesn't work that way. You get what you pay for. So you get a 1 year guy, you more than likely, and a cheap contract, he's going to probably be what you expect him to be, right? Yeah. It's rare that you get a guy on a cheap deal that he outperforms this cheap deal. It's like a Leonard Floyd. That just doesn't happen a lot, right? So, but when you spend a little bit, like on a Palmer, you expect better. And I agree with you. Like, he's not doing enough, right? And maybe that's a case of a little bit of Brady, right? Not scheming things up for him, and maybe a little bit on Palmer himself. And it also could be just a lack of chemistry, right, with him and Allen. So look at Moore. I mean, we were all pumped up about Moore, right? And like what he could do, and he's another guy now. Once again, a 1 year deal, so we can't really go, oh God, I can't believe Moore, but we expected more. We did. We looked at his history and go, oh, wow, he had bad quarterbacks. Now he's with a good one of the best quarterbacks. Right?
He's basically Isaiah McKenzie. He's Isaiah McKenzie. Like yesterday,
I take McKenzie back.
So dude was literally just the motion distraction yesterday. That's all Elijah Moore was for this offense. But Palmer is interesting to me because, like, you know what? I tapered my expectations from the beginning. Because, again, like we saw the Curtis Samuel experiment, and we saw a guy who was never more than a wide receiver 3 for another team. And everyone was like, oh, my God, his separation, his advanced analytics are through the roof. And I was always just like, dude, I'm going to taper my expectations. Because why would the LA Chargers so easily let this man walk? Right? Like, sign him. Like, look, like, I like his ceiling. And whether or not it's Brady, like you said, maybe he just hasn't been able to find the good chemistry to dial him in right to the offensive game plan. And then again, like, why would you? Like, for 2 weeks in a row now, we have seen this team score 30 points, and it felt like we scored 17. It felt like we scored less than 20, but again, somehow we find our way scoring 30. Like, Palmer, I hope he can get better. Maybe next week against the Patriots, he'll have his breakout game. But until then, I will continue to taper my expectations.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And how's Gabe Davis sounding about right now? Not now, but all the haters. I listen, let's be real. Gabe Davis may not have been like this unbelievable player, but he did way better than anybody we've had over the last 2 years. Receiving, just a heads up, he was more consistent and he had bigger games. And don't come to me with the whole Diggs thing because he had Diggs. Gabe Davis had his moments. He had his big time moments here. He wasn't terrible, and he was a 4th round pick. Okay, he wasn't a free agent we signed for 3 years that didn't do anything.
Yeah, so, I know.
Just a heads up. You know what I mean? Like, God,
you know what? It's funny how like you grow to appreciate players we once shit on. Right. And we realize what we had when they're actually gone. But so I do want to transition over to the defense, and let's start off with some things that we liked about the defense, right? And then afterwards, I know everyone on earth is ready to rip this defense apart. And the reason we're 4-0 and an undefeated team in the NFL, screw those guys, sell the team. One thing I liked about the defensive line again was doing their thing. Defensive line again. You had AJ Epinesa. When you roll on out, have AJ Epinesa go out, had a sack, massive sack on Spencer Rattler. Next play ultimately ended up getting that forced fumble. Joey Bosa, once again, doing his thing. Daquan Jones, once again, doing his thing. My theory when it comes into defense is that a quality pass rush is always going to elevate an above average secondary. An elite secondary is never going to do much for a lackluster pass rush. I feel like we have that. I cannot wait for Hoyt to get back. I cannot wait for Ogunjobi to get back. I cannot wait for Ed Oliver to get back. And I cannot wait for Matt Milano to get back. I think a lot of us need to understand that we were without a lot of the pieces that I think that is really going to elevate this squad. Yes, we did see Spencer Rattler going out there looking like a Patrick Mahomes light for the first quarter and on a couple of drives. But again, we end up making adjustments and we end up getting stops when we needed our defense to get stops. In the past, it has just been a collective defensive nightmare where we have been screaming at our television screens saying, just give us one stop. We need stops when it matters most. That's one thing that I've noticed that's different about this defense is when we absolutely need them to make stops, they have. Thoughts on the defense?
It's a work in progress. It's still, but you're right in a way. I feel like this year it hasn't been perfect. Clearly, our run defense is still, a little shaky. Tackling, there's still certain areas that we still need to work on. The third and long, getting offenses off the field on third downs. But you're right. In the Ravens game, it was not the greatest through 3.5 quarters, pretty much. But when we needed them, at the most crucial time, they stepped up and they did. And you got to give them their dues for that. The very next week against the Jets, everyone's like, "Oh, watch out! They're going to get They had a game plan. They executed well, and they stopped the Jets' run attack, and that was a wrap. The Dolphins game, once again, one of those kind of games. It was up and down. They kind of let the Dolphins, but then they stepped up when they needed to. Once again, final play of the Dolphins, the interception. So, which was a crucial part of that game. So, and then obviously against the Saints, there was the 2-point conversion. Though we had 10 guys in the field, that's a different story. But we still winded up making the stop. And he had some key plays in that game as well. So. It's good to see AJ, bounce back. Because last year was a little shaky for him. I got to admit, he got the contract. I felt like I didn't think he'd regress, but I didn't think he really stepped up either. I think this year, right now, he's playing his role well as a depth, as a rotational guy. I like that. Joey Bosa has been a surprise for me. I got to be honest with you. Yeah, I just want him healthy going into January. Right, it's my main concern with him. But he's making plays, and a lot of them are putting the ball on the ground, right? Like you saw that against the Saints, right, with AJ Epinesa picking up that fumble. So, and that was on Bosa. Bosa forced that strip sack. So, yeah, dude. I mean, there's, like I said, there's things that we definitely need to fix and correct, and we got guys coming back. Ed Oliver's interesting. If I'm the Bills, I may just wait till the bye, or after the bye, that is. Yeah. High ankle sprains, kind of no joke, for a guy that size and at the position he plays. So I would probably wait. There's no need against the opponents we're having. We can afford to have some guys out right now. Hoyt is very interesting player. He's that's a guy that I'm excited to see what he can bring to this defense. Trey White, God, I gotta say, thought his tackling was good yesterday. His coverage is the only problem I have right now. He just doesn't have the speed to get back, and make a play on the ball. It's the only problem with him right now. Yeah. But I tell you what, if you look yesterday, McDermott was rotating Strong and White throughout the game. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that. I think that may work moving forward. I think that's a good thing to do. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, the defense, it's still, there's a ways to go, but yeah, you are right. They're stepping up in the most important moments of a game. And that's, really what you want.
Mm-hmm. So as far as it works, right? Like with tackling, was an absolute issue, and it's always a trend. So when you see Matt Milano not out on the field, like when you see Matt Milano is not out on the field, you typically see the Buffalo Bills being particularly atrocious at tackling. Like Kendre Miller, I had no idea this fool existed, but he was out there looking like prime Saquon Barkley on several some of his attempts at the end of the day. It just goes to show you that, like most NFL teams, there's going to be a significant drop off from starters down to second strings. And as long as we can just keep healthy when it matters most, November, December, I'm hoping that we'll be able to see some improvements. But the biggest thing, and something I feel like a lot of people weren't discussing, and why I think this game was as close as it was yesterday, not due to gaffes in the defense or slow starts from the offense. It was piss poor play when it came into the penalty side of things. Like, this team was so undisciplined yesterday. It was frustrating. The reason why the Saints stayed in this game, folks, was not based off of performance on the offensive or defensive side of the football. It was because this Buffalo Bills team went from the least penalized team in the NFL to putting on a showcase of how not to play the game of football. Penalties were so frustrating yesterday, and that's something this team cannot continue to trend. We were going up against a team that was most penalized in the NFL, and I'm pretty sure the ratio was like 11-4 or something like that. That was the Achilles heel of the Bills yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you even go back to the Cole Bishop interception, that was huge, right? We're talking about like defensive stops and all that. That was another play. The defensive, made a play, made a stop there because if he doesn't get there, that's an easy touchdown. That's a walk-in, right? It was well read, well executed, and he got the interception on top of that, right? Because that was still lots of points. They would have got a field goal or something. But we got a penalty, which put us back to like the 1.5, 2 yard line. And then we got 2 more penalties after that when we picked up positive yards. So, and after that just killed the drive, and that was it. We go to halftime. So you can't have that. And they're drive killers too. Like when on offense, we have holding or, offside. Like they just kind of kill the momentum of the drive. I hate them. They're just undisciplined, stuff like that, but we don't do it often. So I'm not going to worry too much about the penalties. It was just one of those games where, hey, we got to clean it up. That's it. It didn't cost us at the end of the day, but that's something that I'm sure McDermott will and coaching staff will talk about.
Yeah. Well, folks, the Buffalo Bills are 4-0, 31-19. We survive, and we end up moving on to the New England Patriots Sunday evening. And Mike Vrabel went out there, man, and he's trying to throw little shots at Buffalo. I'm not sure if you saw that. He says a lot of people are going to be watching that Sunday night game, and we're excited about that. So I think my question to you is very easy schedule, right? So we have the Pats followed by the Falcons right on a Monday night, a bye, and then the Carolina Panthers. And the Buffalo Bills are undefeated, one of the only 2 teams in the league that can say that. Based off of our schedule, to you, when do you see a game that makes you sweat? And not sweat each and every single Sunday, like it's an any given Sunday type matchup, but when do you think the Buffalo Bills' first loss is?
God, initially, I was going to say before Burrow went out, that might have been because Cincinnati plays this tough. They always do. Yeah. But now, obviously, I don't think Burrow will be back by then. So that one, cross that off. I would still say, honestly, bro, Kansas City is dangerous. They're still dangerous. I keep telling people, don't stop with the whole how they start the season, how they look, or they're barely won, all that crap that people want to throw that. You saw what they did, right, against the Ravens. You know what they're capable of. They're getting guys back on top of that. Their offense is starting to click. They got playmakers. They got speed. They got Andy Reid. And they got Patrick Mahomes. And they got a good defensive coordinator and defense. They are a well-rounded, Super Bowl winning team, right? So I would say, looking at the schedule, realistically, we should be undefeated going into the bye. We should beat Carolina. The Kansas City game, it's at home, and we've played them well in the regular season, but that won't be a pushover. That one, I'll say we win, but man, that's going to be a really grind out game. That's going to be like it always is, right? Maybe who has the ball last. I don't think we lose against Miami. Home against Tampa. Tampa's a tough team, but we're home. I don't see us losing to Tampa at Houston. I know a lot of people were like, but Houston's just, I know they won yesterday, but they're still not looking good.
It's the defense.
It's good, but I don't trust their offense. Stroud's kind of taking a back seat. Pittsburgh, I don't like Pittsburgh either. I think we beat Pittsburgh. Even though we're at Pittsburgh, I still think we beat Pittsburgh. Then the Cincinnati game I just told you about. If there's no Burrow, which I don't think he'll be ready, I don't see us losing there. Then we're at New England. You never know. We'll see how they play us in Buffalo, and then we'll talk again. But we should beat New England. At Cleveland, their defense could be tough at times, but their offense is just not good enough. We should beat them. Philadelphia, by that time, even though we're home, look, Philadelphia may have clinched by then. They may not even, who knows if they're going to play I know it's week 17, but they may be just chilling by that point. I still can see us winning, and then at New York, and we're not going to, home against New York, and we're not going to lose against the Jets. Sorry, New Jersey. So yeah, there's a big possibility that you could go undefeated. There's a very big possibility. But either way, even if we don't, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't. I care about January and February, us getting to February, right? It would be awesome, obviously. But if you guys recall, there was a team that did it not too long ago, right? New England Patriots. Nobody talks about it because who cares? They didn't win the Super Bowl. So they went undefeated, right? So, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't finish the whole thing, right? So, there's only one team to do it, right? And that's a stupid ass Miami Dolphins. But they completed it. And they won a Super Bowl. So it's very tough, Dan, to go undefeated. It's really, really tough. So can we? Yes. Will we? I don't. You know what I mean? That's any given Sunday. You can have sometimes you just have a bad game if things don't go your way. And so I don't know. We can, but it doesn't really matter. Like at the end of the day, I want to win the AFC though. We want to go one. We want to be the 1 seed, right? That's something that we haven't done yet. That would be great to do, right? To get that bye going into the playoffs, to get the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Like, that's something we have not yet done. So that would be great to do, right? And it would also help, get also too, just players being healthy, another week of them, getting right, getting healthy and avoiding that wild card game.
Yeah. So my thought is, and this is probably an unpopular take, but for some reason, I feel like November 20th, just smells like a loss to us against the
Texans. The Texans? Really?
Solid defense, dude. It's a really, really good defense. Yes, with the offense, absolutely blows. But again, and so I think that offense is good for 20-something points. I just don't like how the Bills match up against the Texans defensively. I think this is our first loss, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Tampa's interesting, and so is Kansas City, but we haven't lost at home in God knows how long. God knows how long, since 2023, I think, in the regular season. It's just a place where Buffalo just doesn't lose. So don't like that Houston game on November 20th, but who knows? I'm not saying we're going to be undefeated, but I do think 15-2 does make quite a bit of sense for us.
Oh, absolutely. And I would be, and I think everybody here would be okay with that record. As long as we're winning the AFC, right, 1 seed, that would be that's the cherry. It's cherry on top, right? So.
Yeah. So 1 seed's going to be solid too. We saw the Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts end up dropping yesterday. I'm not sure about you, but I'm still bought in on the Colts, bro. I'm still bought in on the Indianapolis Colts. They are an A.D. Mitchell dumbest fumble I've ever seen in my entire life away from making that game completely different.
Dude, I didn't feel bad for him because it's an idiotic play.
Oh, yeah.
Or boneheaded move.
Oh,
but he made a great play. It wasn't. If it was just an wide open and he did that, I'd be like, what an idiot. But he made a spectacular play and then he ruined it. It's crazy. That's college players do that, right? That's a college kind of move. And you're right. I will say this about Indy. That for me, I was like, okay, this is their test game, right? If they get blown out or they look like shit, then okay, you know what? It's all for naught. But Yeah, there
Sorry
you go.
about that. We're
But
back,
yeah,
we're back.
no, you're good. You're good. But no, I you're right. I think Indy, they fought their ass off against a tough LA team in LA. So yeah, I think they're the real deal. I don't think they're a team that is a Super Bowl caliber team. But yeah, I think they're definitely one of the top teams in the AFC. But when we talk about, we were talking about like us being 4-0 and how bad playing. Look at the Chargers, right? There's some teams this season, right, that people are high on, right? Oh, the Chargers beat the Chiefs. The Chargers lost to the Giants yesterday, right? Chargers lost to the Giants. There's upsets all the time. You know what I mean? Like it happens. So like just the fact it's hard to stay undefeated any given Sunday, and the Bills, for as kind of not the prettiest games so far, we found a way, and that's all that's about. It's finding a way, fixing your mistakes, and honestly just gearing up for the playoffs, because this is a playoff team. I've said it before we even that. Come on, and we're not being cocky fans here. We're being realistic Buffalo Bills fans at this point. We have the best quarterback in the NFL. We've been there, done that. This is nothing new. That's why, like, when we, I don't understand why people like get so like offended with the Patriots back in the day and fuck Tom Brady. Look, man, that team, I give them mad credit.
Back, Tommy. And so you do me a favor and just keep talking to people. I got to piss.
Go ahead. So guys, we are like basically the Patriots of the AFC East. The only thing we're missing is the rings. And we're becoming the hated team in the AFC. Right, we're going to become that, and hopefully we win a Super Bowl or two with Allen. Like that's the ultimate goal, right? It shouldn't just be, AFC East Kings. We're the like if that's all we're gonna say, then that's not what I want. I want more, right? But yeah, at this point, man, Buffalo Bills are going to be a playoff team every year as long as Allen is on his team. These are just facts, and. Guys, I listen, the ultimate goal is the Super Bowl. That's the one thing I keep saying to you guys. You shouldn't be just happy with being a good team. And I think that's where a lot of people, fall into this whole, we're a good team. But really, guys, we could be a great team, right? And we just got to correct things. We got to fix things. And that starts with the coaching too, right? McDermott has to do a better job as well. So, Dan, I was just saying, like, man, look, going into each season, I'm confident this team's a playoff team. You got Josh Allen as a playoff team, regardless, right? We're the best team in the East by far. Listen, the Patriots are rebuilding. They're doing it right. The Dolphins are a hot mess. The Jets, we'll see. I mean, the Jets usually do Jets things. So, but right now, man, look, we got to figure out February, right? We got to figure out February, right? That's the only thing. Like, and I'm confident with this team. And it's funny when people are like, oh, they're, this team's going to spank Buffalo. I'm like, dude, let me tell you something. It's super rare.
No team has spanked Buffalo in quite some time.
Quite some time, right? We're in every game.
Like,
right.
Zero, man. Like, so one thing I'll say about the Bills is that, like, I can't remember. So the last time where we got absolutely murdered was maybe like last Baltimore
Titans,
game last year.
1 year, Eagles 1 year.
But like, say that we're like relatively healthy, like almost all of our losses, and they've been very few and far between for the past couple of years, have been decided by less than a touchdown. As long as we have that MVP of the damn league, Josh Allen, we're going to be okay. Guys,
absolutely.
Folks, let's transition over into a Q&A segment. If, for example, you have a question for myself and or Tommy, please label it with a Q dash so we can start getting into it, as I have to give a little bit of love to some of the super chats here. Happy Victory Monday, Dan, from James Goldsmith. Thank you for the $10, man. Lots of snaps for Jackson Hawes. Don't think he can ever surpass Calvin Hill as the greatest NFL player from Yale, but maybe he's on his way to being one of the top 5. Got to tell you what, Tommy, that guy has completely elevated our run game. That's what's not discussed enough. Yeah, like I'm happy he got his touchdown passes here and there, right? But my guy has really taken this run offense to a whole nother level. The run blocking scheme is at an all-time high with that young man. Unsung hero so far through 4 weeks.
Dude, well, honestly, one of our better draft picks. That's right now. Like, and I honestly didn't have that high expectations for him. I thought, okay, like he's going to be a run block, a blocking tight end. Okay, he's just another guy here, right? Like that was kind of my thoughts initially. I'll say this about Hawes, man. If they can work with him, if he can go on the all season, I know right now, like this is not the time. Like, once your season starts, you can't really work on your craft too much. It's really about preparing for your next opponent. But if he can work on his craft as far as being a dual tight end, a blocking tight end, and actually being a receiving tight end as well, man, he could be dangerous, man. I love his energy. I love what he brings, man. He's mean. Like I love that in him, man. And as he, like I said, if he can get that down and get that chemistry with Josh, as Josh trusts him, you're right, to throw him the ball, then he could be very useful in this offense, 100%. But right now, dude, I love the guy. Like he's gonna go in there. He's gonna do everything he can to block whoever is in front of him. Right, to spring a big run.
He's doing his thing, man. He is doing his thing. Here's a little something for Victory Monday. Carl, I appreciate that. Every game that Shaq Thompson and Deion Walker are out there, they are impressing to me. Nice additions. It's funny because, like, why are we all surprised? Because we know that Brandon Beane just hits home run after home run after home run from rounds 4 to round 6. If you're a player that's been selected between the 4th and or the 6th round, you are a star in Buffalo, which is how it is. 1 through 3 is a different conversation, but 4 through 6, please.
And Shaq Thompson, by the way, dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, like he's obviously he's up there in age or whatever, but that dude, when he hits you, man, he may be the hardest hitting player we got right now on this defense. Like that dude. I mean, I'm sure that players feel it, man, when he hits you, man. They're just like, holy shit, this guy brings it, man. And I got to say, too, with Walker, man, I feel like, man, he's doing more than I thought he would. Like, and I know the year before in college was his best year. Last year, he was dealing with some injuries, so he kind of like, took a step back. But, man, like, he's coming around, man, and that's another player. If next offseason he can work on his craft, they can, get with the position coaches and just get his game to another level, he could be dangerous. He could be a really, really good defensive tackle. So that's a guy definitely keep an eye on. But you're right. Like we hit on 4 through 7. It seems like for some odd reason, man.
4 through 6 is the money spot.
Our sweet spot. Yeah, that's our sweet spot, boy.
It's our sweet spot. Hey, Dan, what do you think is going on with Ray Davis, in your opinion? We teased this a bit earlier in the stream, Dom. It's one of two things. It's number one, he's been not looking good in practice at all. Like, hence why he's only had 11 carries all season. Or it's with James Cook got his contract and the front office is putting pressure on the coaching staff saying like, all right, you're going to make this guy earn it. If we're paying him that much money, he's going to be a 3-down back. Like dude's on pace for an absurd amount of carries, like high 200s, like low,
which is wild for here. Cause we don't do that often.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ray's to me is turned into like Zach Moss. I for me while he was here, Dan, that's how I see Ray. Like Ray slowly turning into Zach Moss, and I could definitely see him leaving like a Zach Moss. You know what I mean? Like us just moving on eventually after his rookie deal is done, or maybe even a part of a trade package. You know what I mean? Because maybe he's still intriguing by some teams. They might go, hey, we may need a guy like, and you never know. And go, okay, give us this. I know, Buffalo, though, the one thing I'll say about Buffalo is we tend to like the guys with the stories. So we may stay for a little while. right? So,
Yeah, we do.
and he has obviously he has a backstory, so we tend to like to keep those guys around.
Yeah, we have some heartstrings here.
We
and
do.
So is our big move at the trade deadline just going to be getting players back? We have Oliver, Milano, Hoyt, and Ogunjobi. And do you think Harrison misses the whole season? It's a great question. We're still not in the best position financially. So say that we go out and bring like a quote unquote game changing type talent to this roster, I would be shocked. I think that's what Brandon Beane is waiting for. He's waiting for these two guys to get off a suspension, waiting for Maxwell Harrison to potentially get healthy. He's actually able to start practicing this week. That opens up his 21-day window. We saw the guy in a thick-ass knee brace, so we'll see if he is activated. If he isn't activated, then he's on the season-ending IR, and we're just going to have to roll with Trey White and mixing in Dorian Strong. I have a feeling he's going to play. When? I feel like that's an entire different conversation, but yeah, I think he'll be activated.
Harrison?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the fence with that. I don't know because I feel like the way McDermott was talking about him, it seems like it's a little bit like he's a little bit behind on the playbook too. So that is always a concern. Like he shouldn't be, right? He should be diving deep into the playbook by now, really, and rehabbing. So if he's behind, that's kind of a little bit concerning. Also, with the injury, it was still a slight tear. They're gonna, so I don't know about rushing him back either, especially if Strong and White is, holding down that spot, like doing good enough, right? Like, God forbid we bring this guy back and it is too early and he has another tear and then we got a whole another year without him. It would be terrible, right? Like that would not be good.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to weigh out the options with him to see if it's even worth it to bring him back. Or just say, you know what, we're going to shut it down and just going to give this guy enough time to rehab right and then go into the off season. Because look, remember Trey, we kind of not rushed him back, but even Vaughn came back a little early and they just kind of were still kind of just not right. You know what I mean? So I don't see a sense of why we would rush him back at this point. But we'll see. As far as, like I said, Hoyt's interesting. That Ogunjobi, I don't. We'll see what we'll see what happens. Will he play like the seasons prior? When he was playing his best ball. If we get that Ogunjobi, cool. I'm happy. That's a great signing, but I don't know if we do. Hoyt's the one. That's the unicorn. That's the guy that could make this defense a lot better, or at least that line. Because if they're going to use him like they did in LA, which is kind of shift him around the line. Then yeah, dude, like that could be a major upgrade on that line. So, but yeah, Harrison, we'll find out, man.
We will find out about that. Nick 716 is saying, why do you think Landon Jackson hasn't gotten any game snaps? Is it because he's not ready, or is it something else? Wouldn't this be a stretch of games you want to try out players? I think he's not ready. He's just a developmental piece. And I feel like people sort of over romanticized his combine performance and they fell in love with his size. And they're like, oh my God, this could be the next Max Crosby type thing. Like that was something we would hear over the offseason. His entire career in football has been encouraging as far as his development because he has come a long way from high school all the way to college. But where he stands now, he's not a very good pass rusher, right? And you saw that during the preseason. I'm not saying that it's impossible for him to develop into that guy, but I think it's pretty clear that the coaching staff feels the exact same way, that they think that putting him out there would not benefit the team in the slightest. Maybe he ends up getting some snaps if there's an injury or something along those lines, but I just don't think he's ready.
Yeah, that's saying a lot too, because Solomon's not looking good either.
No,
and if he can't if they're not even giving him an opportunity over Solomon, that kind of tells you what's going on in practice. And what's probably happening is like I said, I talked about this yesterday. There's a couple of reasons why. One, he could just not be looking good in practice and not just underperforming, where the coaching staff's like he's a liability if we bring him up, right? He's just not going to do anything. Or two, and it happens, McDermott tends to put certain guys in his doghouse he has, and he just for some reason doesn't want to give that player the opportunity. He did it with Poona Ford. Y'all remember that? Poona Ford had a hell of a season last year. So there are certain guys, but with Landon, I'm going to lean more towards what Dan said. He's a project kind of player. I think he's really raw. Like I think there's a lot that needs. I think he has the tools.
Yeah,
but they have to figure it out with him, right? They haven't really, it just hasn't come together yet, right? And I think you saw in preseason, you saw that you could see that, right? It's not put together yet. So I don't think there's a rush on him. Once again, rookie contract. We don't really need him. It's not like, wait, we have to have Landon. So would I like to have seen him yesterday? I'll be honest with you. Why not? Right. Once again, Solomon's not doing much, but I don't know. If you don't, I'll tell you what, you don't see him at all this season. That means there's a lot of work to be done. Still.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it has to do with why Solomon is over him is right, because with Landon Jackson, he's not a very good special teamer. Like he's not a very good special teamer.
That is true. Yeah.
Solomon actually does contribute on the special team side of things, where like Landon's like more exclusively a pass rusher that still needs to work on his pass rush moves. So that's likely why we're seeing this. 6 ring check Parks. That's my buddy. He's a Patriots fan. He comes in here. How do you feel about Drake May having almost identical stats to Josh Allen year 2 jump? I mean, he's been looking good. He had a hell of a game against the Panthers last week. One thing I'll say about the Pats is that while I think that they're not quite up to Buffalo's level yet, I think they're a year away from, like, me as a Bills fan being like, okay, this team is truly going to be a threat for the division. I really think that that's the case. I would not be surprised if the Pats end up finding their way as the 7th seed in the playoffs, perhaps even in the 6th. Definitely a lot of good things to come out of New England. I've been very impressed with Drake. Thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said this last year, I felt like, obviously they were going to get rid of their coach. That was already like in motion. So, but they got what they wanted, which was going through the draft, finding your quarterback, clearing up a lot of cap space. They knew their coach was coming the following year. And they brought back their old offensive coordinator. He's a really good coordinator. And that's how you do it. That's why I don't get teams that continue to do this cycle of getting older players that continue to just not go. You got to keep trying. You got to keep trying until you find your guy. And it looks like they found their guy. Yeah, May's having a good season, but I still think there's a lot of work left, to be done. Still to be done in New England. Stevenson, man, he's a disappointment. Your running back. He's fumbling a lot. I don't know what happened, over the last 2 seasons. He just cannot hold the ball. But May's looking like the real deal. Really he's playing really well. Of course, he's making some slight mistakes here and there, but that happens, right? He's still young. He's still kind of learning. But you got yourself. It looks like right now you got yourself a really good quarterback, and that's promising. If you're a Patriots fan right now, it's definitely a good outlook. You're definitely going okay. Like now we're trending in the right direction, and it all starts with the quarterback. You got to find that piece, and then you surround him with talent. You build around him, and then you go from there. I mean, that's what Buffalo did. I mean, you'll go back when Bean got here, McBean. I mean, first thing they did was pretty much clear up. They got rid of everybody. I mean, in a way, they got rid of a lot of big contracts. People were pissed about Shady, but you saw, Shady was done, right? It turned out to be a good move. There was the Marcel Darius, got rid of him, that big contract. Like they kind of cleaned house, right? And then they found their quarterback in 2018, obviously Josh Allen. We had a bad year, which is normal. So do the Patriots, right? That's how it works. And then you build, right? John Brown, Cole Beasley, Stephon, and then you go and then you become this what we are today, right? A really, really good team. So yeah, the Patriots, if they continue to do that, I hate to see it. Y'all are in our division, but you're doing it the right way, right?
Yeah. And so the Pats are certainly doing the right thing. But folks, that's going to have to wrap it for today's edition of the Dom Mafia Report. Victory Monday. Have no fear. I will likely be live a bit later this afternoon. And I will open up the Garage Beer hotline for a couple of other topics we need to discuss on the channel. Tommy, what do you got to say to the people right before we let them go? Some words to live by. Go ahead.
Hey, 4-0. Love it. This doesn't happen often, like a lot, right? We're 3-0, then we lose a game. We go into a funk. We're looking good, guys. 4-0. Things can, and by the way, things are going to get better, meaning the defense is going to improve. The offense is going to find their way even better. So just live in the moment. And let's just, like I said, let's live in the moment and enjoy that we have the greatest quarterback in the NFL on our roster.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. And maybe, just maybe the best running back in the NFL too.
I didn't see that coming.
It's still too soon. It's still too soon, but we might have a pretty damn good running back as well. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you a bit later. Go subscribe to my boy Tommy over on his YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.